All right, guys. So WWE Radio is officially a thing. WWE came to terms with SiriusXM on a deal to make WWE Radio on their station. Now, a lot of the controversy about this is WWE, they're trying to control the narrative. They're trying to silence people's opinions. So the biggest wrestling show on SiriusXM, Busted Open Radio, Dave LaGreca, along with Bubba Dudley. Natty is also a contributor, and Dolph Ziggler, as Nick Nemeth, are also on the show as well. And this is Dave LaGreca breaking the news of the deal, fair use.
We have been able together, and when I say together, I mean all the talent that's a part of this brand, but the nation, the Busted Open fans that have been with us since day one and has grown and grown to conquer heights that we never would have imagined we've been able to accomplish here. And we've done it together. Us and our fans have done this together. And make no mistake about it, we are making the biggest announcement because this Monday, July 27th, is the start of a new era for Busted Open and for this entire platform and this channel. And as much as and as hard as we work to make Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7, we are going to continue to be 24/7, but we have hit the big time because channel 156, starting on Monday, is going to be the new official audio home of the WWE, and we begin the era of WWE radio right here on SiriusXM. I cannot believe that a show that started for 1 hour, 1 day a week, is now going to be partnered with the greatest pro wrestling company, the biggest pro wrestling company, not just now, but ever in this great sport. And make no mistake about it. If you think I'm letting the foot off the gas, if you think you're not going to get the what you're used to hearing from Dave LaGreca on a daily basis, you think I'm going to stop ranting? No! That is not going to stop. It's just going to get louder, and now more people are going to hear it than ever before. This platform is now the biggest that it's ever been in the 17 plus years that we've been a part of SiriusXM. And all our shows are going to stay the same. All our time slots are going to stay the same. You have Busted Open. You have Not Sam. You have Off the Ropes. You have Cheap Heat. You have Busted Open After Dark. Nothing changes. Plus, you're going to get so much more because you're going to get the TV feed of Monday Night Raw, Tuesdays NXT. You're going to get Friday Night SmackDown. So Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays, you're going to be able to hear, because Nick, as you know, when you're here, your family, you're going to be able to hear all those broadcasts right here on channel 156 on WWE Radio. But the biggest thing, and this is something I never would have thought that would ever happen, you're going to get exclusive audio play-by-play rights for WWE PLEs. Vic Joseph and Booker T will carry every major WWE PLE for the WWE radio audience right here on SiriusXM. It's going to be a SiriusXM production. They will air right here on channel 156. Our first ever PLE, our first ever broadcast, SummerSlam. So you're going to be able to hear night 1 and night 2 of SummerSlam right here on WWE Radio.
All right, so the big thing about this is a lot of people are complaining about WWE is they're trying to control the narrative. As I said, they're trying to get people to try to hinder people's opinions, talk good about them, not call them out on things like that. Now, when it comes to this, I understand, but I don't think Busted Open was that rough on WWE to begin with, personally. But in a way, how can I put this? So, from a business perspective, well, from a fan perspective, I will say this. WWE trying to maneuver their way and brand everything under their umbrella is crazy. It's like they're trying to silence people. They're trying to get people to control the narrative. They're trying to not get called out on their bad television on a week-to-week basis and things like that. I 100% understand that. But what we have to understand is, from a business perspective, we all have dreams here. We all on streams, podcasts. I've been doing this for 10 years. Before we moved to YouTube exclusively, there's an audio feed on iTunes. Everybody does this for a reason. Now, granted, this is a passion project of mine, passion over profits. Some insight growing up, I wanted to be a sports commentator. I did. I wanted to call NBA and NFL games, but back then it was pretty much impossible to do that. It was 1 in a million chance when you tell somebody that's like, well, you got to do X, Y, and Z. That's a small amount of people that actually make that in that career. But nowadays, anybody can get up, grab a microphone, put a camera up, and talk. But the goal is to get recognized. And if the top company in the world is coming to you saying, hey, we want to be a part of your company, are you really going to say no? I know some people will sit there and say, look, you're not going to try to silence me. I'm not going to change the way I project myself on my show. I'm not toning down anything I do on my show. I'm going to sit there and communicate the way I want to on my show. But we do this to get recognized. And WWE coming to us saying, look, we want to work with you, the number one wrestling company in the world. This isn't some indie or something. This is WWE. They didn't necessarily talk about AEW a lot unless it was like some huge story or it involved any of the top stars. But this whole WWE deal is a big deal. And like I said, I don't think they were very highly critical of WWE to begin with. And it's interesting because they did let go of Thunder Rosa, and we have a clip from Coach talking about his perspective of the idea. But everybody's saying did Busted Open and SiriusXM sell out? I don't necessarily think it's a sellout. I just don't. We got to stop. And then the thing is, when people make these business deals, everybody they throw around the sellout title like it's such a bad thing. It's like if somebody presents you a deal and you accept it, you're selling out. What are they selling out? What are they selling out? Now they had some controversial opinions. So let's continue. Let Dave LaGreca talk, and we're going to jump to Coach and Vince Russo. Because Coach, he has been let go by Sirius, and he had an opinion about this as well. But let's finish what Dave has to say.
The first of its kind. It's huge. It's absolutely amazing. Like I said, Nick, the hot chick turned her head, saw this, and said, "I need to be a part of this. Woo! I need to get on this." We're also going to air Cody Rhodes' podcast. What do you want to talk about? We're going to air Stephanie McMahon's podcast. What's your story? You're going to hear Undertaker 6 Feet Under. You're going to get the WWE Now Raw recap with Sam and Megan Morant starting at 4 p.m. Eastern time right on this channel. You're going to get more appearances from WWE superstars. I mean, this is going to be must listen to. And just so you know, nobody's holding LaGreca down. You're still going to get the uncensored, unfiltered Dave LaGreca every freaking day right here on WWE Radio Channel 156. The biggest company in the history of pro wrestling is now partnered with Busted Open, and we are now WWE Radio on Channel 156 starting July 27th.
So we'll see if they ever get him to actually tell him to tone it down a bit. We'll see in the future if that happens or not. But the idea of having, like, Raw, SmackDown, play-by-play on the radio. Now, granted, I don't use SiriusXM, but just the idea of having that play on the radio, PLEs, and then also WWE's podcast series on a radio feed, I think it's a brilliant idea. They might not necessarily even be worried about what Busted Open is doing. This just might be for them able to broadcast themselves. Because I believe I saw, my phone died, guys, but I believe I saw that LaGreca was critical of the Danhausen Joe Hendry segments, and it was, I'm paraphrasing a bit, but it was last days of WCW-esque, which is pretty spot on. But we'll have to see what happens with this, because maybe they'll just leave Busted Open alone or whatever. Maybe they're using it to promote their own brand, their own thing. Everybody's so concerned about Busted Open, but WWE, they're getting a good deal out of this as well. They're promoting their own selves. And now this is what Vince Russo and Coach had to say about the deal. Fair use.
Yes.
So a lot of you, I've told you we will start with this topic today. And I'm going to lead into it because you're going to be surprised at a lot of things I have to say about certain things and certain people. If you came here for a slugfest, you can go somewhere else. We're adults and we can discuss it. We would discuss this topic even if I wasn't involved, Vince.
Oh, yeah,
even
absolutely.
if I wasn't involved.
Right.
But I drove my beautiful daughter to Texas. She's starting school out there. Or, I'm going to be moving in the next couple of months. It's hard to have a full-time schedule and try to do a move.
Yeah.
Right. So I wanted some people in Dallas to know I was coming. So I scheduled a few meetings, and it is kind of nice when the biggest stations in the country will make time to meet with you because of what you've done.
Right.
Like one guy said, listen, I don't take cold calls. I don't answer emails. I don't need to. I've been here for 28 years. But he said, when I saw that you were coming to town, I wanted to make sure because I respect your talent and what you've done. One of them, Vince, I walked in and the first person is, oh my goodness, I watch your stuff all the time. I love the Coach and Bro show.
Oh, very nice.
I kid you not.
Very nice. That's awesome.
They're like, and so we got to say thank you to the Clippers out there. There's several accounts that clip our show.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people watch those accounts. So our stuff is everywhere.
Yeah, that's
absolutely
awesome,
everywhere.
That's
and do you know
awesome.
what the overriding theme of reaction that I got from people? They said this whole situation with Pro Wrestling Nation Radio, now WWE Radio, this is a blessing for you guys. And I think, Vince, what they meant by that is there is space for a lot of content. And now they have kind of taken part of the space, but have opened up so much more of the space for people like me and you, because there's a lot of fans out there that want a straight down the middle, unbiased, opinion-based show, either on a streaming network or on a different radio network. And that's where I've arrived today is I couldn't have done the show that I wanted to do at WWE Radio. It wouldn't have worked. And even though financially, do I take a hit by not having Off the Ropes in my back pocket? Of course I do. But it's not like they were paying me a ton. And it's not like we can't in the next year replace that income and have more fun doing it. And I think that's my number one message today is don't feel sorry for me. Don't get pissed off at them. Just come here and enjoy our content because this is what we do, and we're going to shoot it straight down the middle. I think that's number one, Vince. What would yours be?
Yeah, Coach, it's very hard for people like you and I. It's very hard for us to be compromised. It just is. Even if we're paid very well, it's just hard to be compromised. I think at our very, very core, we're just two really honest people. And whatever the consequences are, the consequences are. So, again, to be compromised, it's what's the dollar figure for that? I mean, what is that even worth where you're supposed to be giving your true feelings and your true opinions, but all right, man, this is as far as I can go. I don't know if there's a price tag on that.
Well, this is where
And that's
we're gonna disagree a few times, because I did defend, because a lot of people said, well, Dave LaGreca, who's the founder of Busted Open, he should stand on business, and he knows he won't be able to rant the way
And that's the thing. A lot of people think that, all right, well, I can't do a show this way. My opinion can't be, I can't be silenced. But when they're saying, but what big controversial takes have there been lately? For example, like we all know, like we all try to improve our shows. We all try to get interviews or things like that. So you're telling me that you're not critiquing anybody, or you're not doing a form of pandering to anybody? You're not so you never say anything bad or anything negative about from what not from a personal perspective, but about what they're doing, about how something was not good or whatever. So let's continue.
And I said, no, if you are in your late 50s, in your 60s, and you've been building something for 17 years, and a corporation, which is now kind of how it works, Vince, and they come to you and say, we're going to do what's best for us, but we're going to keep your show. I think that it's easy to say I would walk away, but say you're making $300,000. I don't know what Dave's making. I don't know. And I don't care. It's not my business. But if I'm making a lot and I'm 61 or 62 years old, and I now say, and I really look at my content, and let's be honest, Vince, it had to be a gigantic AEW story to make it into my show and to their show. So everybody was like, oh, they're not going to talk about these other shows. We didn't really anyway. So for Dave to walk away because he doesn't think he can be honest, I would say it's a much more difficult conversation than just what you just said.
Well, also, Coach, if we are going to be honest here, they were compromised before this even happened. I mean, let's just be honest. They need access. They need the guest.
Russo's right there. As I just said, if you're trying to get access to somebody or access to something, you're not going to glowingly talk bad about the product. You're just not. Now, Vince Russo, for example, he's talking about his opinion. Vince Russo, somebody who is a locale of mine. I do enjoy hearing him talk, but I hardly, if anything, hear him say anything good. I hardly hear him say, this was good. They need to continue doing this. I've heard him say, so-and-so looks like a star. But as far as a storyline going on, being good, I hardly hear anything like that from him. Not saying he doesn't. I'm saying I hardly hear it. It's mostly everything is not good. So for him, in his opinion, his opinions are going to you can't censor his opinions, because from his opinions, they don't seem to, he doesn't really necessarily have anything remotely good to say most of the time.
They want to be on those, calls before pay-per-views. They want to be in the loop. So the fact of the matter is they were compromised anyway to begin with. And that's the problem I had. And that's why I think this is a good thing. They were compromised. Who's getting Legends deals, who's not getting Legends deals, who they need to be a spot on the show. We're going to call Bubba. Mark Henry's kid is in the system. Come on, bro. Let's be honest.
Well, that's a different argument. That's a different, 100%.
They were compromised. But this is why I think it's a good thing, because now we know. Like you're under the WWE umbrella now. Now we know you're going to be compromised. And listen, I think people are going to be a little surprised of my take, because if you know me, bro, I'm all about business. And Coach, let's face it, whatever the parent company was for Busted Open, you don't think that these people didn't know from day one If we can get in bed with the WWE and we can partner with the WWE, that's how we're going to make the most amount of money.
Sure, 100%.
They were looking at that from day one, and you can't blame them. You get in business to make money. If you're in the wrestling business, the most money you're going to make is when you're tied to the WWE.
Facts.
Period, Coach.
Facts.
Well, but I agree with that to a certain extent, which is I think why this conversation is much bigger and deeper than what I think people just thought they would come here and we're going to bash on them. No, look at it from a business standpoint. That's what we do here at the show. And I think that's one of my most disappointing things, Vince, if I'm being completely honest, is I do believe from day one this was a discussion, which was July 1st of 2025. So I said right here on the show, I did not have a conversation, not an email, not a text message from anyone that ran that station since October. And so now, as I sit back here, and I got to be honest with you, it was a big relief to get this announcement because I'm already gone anyway, right? I'm already gone. So I'm always looking for things, what can make it better for me now that at least that network I can't work for. Now, I would hope that SiriusXM, because of this announcement, I did nothing wrong. I think everybody's looking at, oh, now we got the reason.
Right, of course. Right.
Coach didn't do anything wrong. I didn't say anything wrong, except in the eyes of the WWE, because they didn't want to have a show. So my point is, Vince, I think you're right. Why? Because if I don't have any conversations, if I don't have a listen to, if I don't have a feedback, and here's what really got it for me. In one of my meetings in Dallas with these big time radio guys.
All right, guys. So so we'll stop right there. So let me know what you guys think about WWE Radio. Let me know what you guys think about SiriusXM merging with WWE to make WWE Radio. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. All right.